Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and today I'm going to tell you the real reason WWE has been deemed an essential business. I'm going to tell you about the tapings almost getting shut down before that ruling. I'm also going to tell you about the possibility of boxing at the Performance Center, and I'm going to tell you the latest on AEW Double or Nothing.
Plus, Vince McMahon is going to save the US economy. Vince McMahon's reputation has also taken a huge hit. Some of your favourite stars are going to be missing from AEW. And keep Jim Cornette's name out of your mouth. This is the news.
But we are going to kick things off with something that's going to, have a lot of people pulling on their tinfoil hats. And if I had mine at hand, I would certainly have it on right now. Local reporters in the Florida area, John Alba and Stephanie Coinho, terrible apologies, my humblest apologies if I've mispronounced that name. They have broken down a rather interesting timeline as relates to WWE being deemed an essential business and being able to continue shows at the Performance Center in Orlando. On April 1st, Governor of Florida, DeSantis, issues an executive order, a stay-at-home order saying from April 3rd, you brothers better stay at home unless you're essential. On the 9th of April, the government amended that order to include professional sports and media production, essentially meaning that WWE was deemed an essential service. What else happened on that day, you might ask? Well, Linda McMahon, who of course is a former member of Donald Trump's Small Business Administration panel, apologies if I've got the title of that wrong, pledged to spend $18.5 million in the state of Florida coming from her super PAC for Donald Trump's re-election as POTUS. She has headed this up since 2019. So on the day she pledges to spend all this money in Florida, Florida suddenly goes, hey, you guys can run your shows again. And of course, the very next day, Vince McMahon said that we're going live, pal, we're doing it live, no more tapings. So, I mean, come on, this is the most transparent thing in the world. Now, I know a lot of people, we've mentioned Donald Trump's name, which is going to get someone upset somewhere, regardless of what, but surely a blind man can look at this and see on the day that 18.5 million has been pledged and the decision's made. I'm not adding 2 and 2 together to get 5 here, am I? This is pretty obvious.
No, this is dodgy as.
Yeah.
Literally, if you found a smoking gun, it would be as much of a smoking gun as this smoking gun. It's right there. I'm not exactly surprised. We weren't thinking earlier on this week, how on earth did this come about? We all sort of knew the reason why WWE would inexplicably be named essential workers, and it was down to something like this. We just have it officially confirmed. But there's many stories today involving the McMahons and Donald Trump's government, because Donald Trump has named a list of people who are tasked with bringing the US economy back to life, of course going on, considering the ongoing global health crisis. They're part of the Great American Economic Revival Industry Group, or GAERIC, I suppose. On there, you've got UFC's Dana White, MLB's Rob Manfred, NFL's Roger Goodell, Don Garber of MLS, representatives from the PGA, the NHL, NASCAR, and of course, WWE Chairman Vincent Kennedy McMahon. He's going to save the US economy, Andy.
He is, isn't he? He's going to come back and inject the recovery stimulus or whatever. I'm just using words. No, I don't think this is a massive surprise, given that Vince was on that conference call with Mr. Trump and all these other sports leaders the other week, during which I think the president said something along the lines of, we hope to have fans back in stadiums by August or September. No idea if that is going to be doable or not. The situation changes every single day. But yeah, man, Vince McMahon, he's got his big money. Scrooge McDuck going to scoop up some of them coins and save the goddamn economy. But
now, this I just want to very quickly, one of my sources, I very rarely bring them onto the news because I don't like, giving them away. But do you remember McMahon's $1 Million Mania? Well, how about Trump's $1 Trillion Mania?
Oh, there you go. There's the crossover that's going to save the world and kill the thing that is currently making the world a dumpster fire. Speaking of dumpster fire, that's just really unfair, that. The shows at the Performance Center, right, tapings have been ongoing, but they almost got shut down. So I've got a new report here from Fightful claiming that Orange County sheriffs from Florida had visited the WWE tapings in the Performance Center several times in March and April to say, hey guys, you're not following state guidance, you're violating the stay-at-home order, and if you continue doing this, we're going to shut your ass down. Before they could do that, obviously, the essential business order came in. So it seems that WWE were coming within a single hair of just being told no more tapings, no more shows, nothing. Stop doing this. This is unsafe. Until the governor came through and went, nah, boys, you can keep going. So, you know, this whole stuff we've just spoken about this morning, it all really ties together. But it's interesting to know that they were that close to not being able to do shows at all. And now they're doing it live 3 times a week.
And look at the ratings they're getting as a result.
Wow, yeah, last night wasn't good.
This is one of the first times in history that WWE, outside of, you know, complete freak ones, where no hour has done above 2 million.
I believe it is the 3rd time in history or something like that. I think Dave tweeted something to that effect, but oh god, it's grim. It's grim.
I should say, before we get complaints, that I did read somewhere else on Twitter that is still one of the most watched TV shows outside of news. So, good, I suppose. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about the XFL. Of course, Vince McMahon declaring Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And his reputation has taken a battering as a result of it, according to Dave Meltzer on today's Wrestling Observer Radio. He basically had earmarked around $300 million to spend on the XFL and hadn't spent it all by the time that he declared bankruptcy. Basically, there's a general feeling, to summarise, that he has screwed people he worked with on the league, including coaches, stadiums. You know, yes, he is looking for a new backer for the XFL, but he's done it to protect himself from, you know, debts that was going to arise from the XFL, when it's generally considered he probably could have eaten that loss and kept it going. He's just done it to cover his own arse, and also done it at a very specific time to get the most out of it for investors.
I've got my own conspiracy theory on this one, because we always heard that the XFL was set up for 3 years of just eating losses, right? They were going to absorb whatever the cost was until the next set of TV negotiations came around and hopefully score a big contract there, and then it would be profitable and all would be well. Now, the revelation that, you know, they made this on the news that this had nothing to do with WWE. And then we heard the revelation last week with the bankruptcy filings over the weekend that, hey man, actually WWE own 23% of this goddamn business. So I reckon that maybe because they're tied together, now that we know this, we know the whole thing was a sham, and that he didn't plan on persisting with this if things got tough, because it's now harming WWE as well. So it's a really weird situation. You know, the XFL would obviously still be going, right, if it wasn't for what's going on around the world. We need to mention that because it's fair. But at the same time, man, Vince, you can't make sense of Vince at the best of times. He's a very confusing man. Let's just say that.
He's a man who makes business decisions depending on what side of bed he wakes up in. There's no logic to some of them.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Let's hit a bit of the old speed round for these next few stories, because we've got quite a few to get through. Boxing promoter Bob Arum, he wants to run shows at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando. He told ESPN's Sean Kim the following: "It's very, very interesting, and we're going to be in touch with them. There's a possibility to use their facility to maybe do events without a crowd." Now, he also said that we're very close with Vince McMahon and the WWE, so let's just see. But we're still not talking before June. And he says the whole thing depends on adequate testing and ensuring that enough is done to ensure that everyone involved is safe. Maybe a good way of ensuring that everyone involved is safe is not doing the shows.
Or Andy Murray, Brawl for All 2, baby!
Get in.
Electric Boogaloo, get in.
Where's Bart gone?
Right, let's talk a little bit about AEW and specifically AEW Dynamite. Of course, AEW have been doing a whole host of TV tapings in Georgia, and a depressing report from Wrestling Inc. Lets us know that a lot of your favourite stars will not be on because they did not attend the TV tapings. That includes the Young Bucks, MJF, Hangman Page, Nyla Rose, Pac, the Lucha Bros, and Big Swole, all not at the tapings, so they're basically going to be missing TV right up until, the week of Double or Nothing? It's depressing.
Yeah, Skeleton Crew makes it very, very hard to build programs for Double or Nothing, which, by the way, is still going ahead. AEW have released a statement confirming that despite last week's news that the MGM Grand was shutting down, Double or Nothing will be going ahead from a different venue, but this hasn't been confirmed at the time. I'll just read through the statement here. AEW Double or Nothing will be televised on pay-per-view as scheduled on Saturday, 23rd of May. Additional details related to it, which was initially supposed to go ahead at the MGM Grand, will be revealed in the weeks ahead, with features of the event itself ultimately being determined by the latest guidance of national and global health authorities. Again, lads, just don't do the show. That'd be a lot safer, I think, at this stage, right?
Yeah, we take shots at WWE for all this going on, and yes, them having live shows makes a bad situation even worse. But AEW did a whole host of tapings, in and around this whole shutdown going on, so they're not clean about all this. And now it strikes me that with Money in the Bank and Double or Nothing, WWE and AEW are playing the worst game of chicken I've ever seen.
Yeah, what's it going to take, man? Where do we draw the line?
It's insane, this. Look, I was lucky enough to attend Double or Nothing. It's incredible. I love Money in the Bank. It's one of my favourite pay-per-views. But I'd be absolutely fine. I've got the network. I've got access to the internet. There are other wrestling things out there. And for people saying, well, what would you report on? I'm sure we'll find something to talk about.
Yeah,
Trust me.
Like 100 years of wrestling history, maybe.
Yeah. We'll be fine for a few months. I guarantee it. We won't have to put on our own wrestling shows in our back gardens just yet. Right, let me fill you in on the latest news around Jim Cornette. Nothing too serious this time. He's just decided to trademark his own name for pro wrestling use. He filed to do that on Thursday of last week, stating that the name was first used in commerce on January 1st, 1978. Literally no more news about that story. He just has trademarked his name. So let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. Big Joe 83 starts us off, saying, there are a lot in the women's division lost in the pack currently. Do you think there's room for a large women's stable who would win the tag titles and dominate across all brands? Ruby Riott and Bianca Belair come to mind for this.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool idea. We haven't really seen, the women's stables that they've booked in recent years. You're talking, Absolution. Obviously that didn't work out because of the Paige situation. The Riot Squad were kind of ineffective, didn't really get over to any degree. I think it's a good idea. You might need a few more people involved from NXT, but hey, if we're doing that across all three brands, I guess that's a consideration anyway. It's a good shout, someone we haven't seen in a while. It's something that could be done really well. I would like to see it.
Undisputed era.
Fair enough. Yep.
Vinny Patempa gives us our second question of the day, saying, do you guys think WWE would be better off with general managers? Personally, when general managers came out, I was also excited to see what they had to say.
I hate authority figures. Hate them. So my totally subjective view on this is absolutely not. Keep them away forever. I don't want to see them. Professional wrestling, I don't think, has ever needed proper authority figures. It certainly doesn't need the WWE style in-your-face hogging airtime for 15-20 minutes a week style that they tend to book. William Regal's fine on NXT, right? He's really good because he's unintrusive and he barely gets involved and only sticks his hand in when is necessary. But WWE have shown throughout decades that they don't have the restraint to do that on Raw and SmackDown. If you're going to bring someone in, I think on Raw or SmackDown, it has to be a Regal type figure for me, but they can't pull that off. They've shown that. They can't do it on Raw and SmackDown. So not to completely just shred all over your question here, and thank you for sending it in, but I hate authority figures. I don't want to see them anywhere. I don't want to see them in AEW. They don't have one in New Japan, and it works fine over there. So let's roll.
I think the problem we have right now is because there is only a limited selection of authority figures, as you said. People have sort of rose-tinted sunglasses when they remember it. They think about, like you say, the times when Stone Cold put it to the authority figure every single week on Monday Night Raw, or they think of that amazing Raw that opened with Commissioner Shawn Michaels booking an entire show, and you can go back and watch it. It's one of the most suggested videos on my timeline about. It's basically him booking this amazing night of Monday Night Raw with what was it, the corporation and things like that on there, basically. But you forget, like you say, Stephanie McMahon, the she-devil that she is, hogging 20 minutes at the start of every show to basically say bugger all and then be interrupted by the babyface who gets emasculated. Look, it's a nice idea, but like you say, Andy, they just can't bloody help themselves, and after 3 weeks we'd be sick of them, so probably not.
Yeah, get rid of them, man. They captured lightning in a bottle with Austin McMahon. They'll never do that again. Never.
Exactly. Right, final question today comes from Jess. Oh, and I like this one, Jess. All you guys are heroes. Don't please. Jess, thank you. There's an AEW triple tag match with WhatCulture management of all 3 teams. What would yours be? Now, Andy, Jess's is the Butcher and the Blade with the bald bastard. I assume that's either you or Jules. Wilborn's Private Party, and Simon Miller going heel with Wardlow and MJF.
Oh man, I like it. Although I think me and Jules could probably pretty convincingly cosplay the Butcher and the Blade, except with our builds, obviously. Especially not the Butcher. That man is an absolute sofa. Man, this rules. I mean, you've been paired with Private Party there, but I would be tempted to put Adam Cleary in his jazzy jacket with them as well.
I was thinking that, yeah. I was going to defer to him.
That's a good little fit. I think you'd be a good fit in SCU, man. Like, I think you'd fit in well with the catchphrases. They've got like 7 of them. They're all over. I think that's a good shout. Who else have we got? Adam Nicholas with the Butcher and the Blade would be interesting because he's got an immaculate set of hair and facial hair, much like the Butcher himself. I'm low on ideas other than that, Fo. I like this question, Fo. It's nice.
I think Jules should go into the murder triangle.
Because he's a stabber and he kills people.
Yeah, he'd fit right in there. And personally, I think SCU is probably the best fit for me, but I really want to be part of Jurassic Express. I want it to be Luchasaurus with me on Luchasaurus' shoulders, Jungle Boy on my shoulders, and Marco stood on top of that. And then we can, I don't know, touch the moon or something.
I'd like to be part of Best Friends as well, man, because they just seem to be having the best time. I want that hug. I want to be the hug. Yes.
Exactly. Right, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. We'll move on to today's and finally, and a little bit of self-congratulations here. But, well, first of all, a nod to our main channel, which just passed 2 million subscribers. So thank you, everyone, for your support on that one. And also, a nod to our friends over at Kayfabe News, with a very familiar looking, I can't place him, Flippin' Marks, of course, who presents on there. Kayfabe News, did you see this yesterday, Andy? He posted a news story that just said, Kayfabe News takes day off satirising wrestling after WWE actually deemed an essential service in Florida.
Oh, baby, I mean, I love Kayfabe News, but brothers, that is right on the money. Tremendous.
It's like those things where you read stuff and you go, oh, what's this, from The Onion? And then you realise, oh no, it's just, that's the news now.
It does feel increasingly like WWE itself almost feels like a parody. Vince should probably just hire everyone from Kayfabe News because that's how it's playing out.
That's right. Go and subscribe to Kayfabe News. They're great with Flippin' Marks, even though if he was horrible to me on that, Who Wants to Be a Billionaire or whatever.
He's not a nice guy, man. He's not a nice guy. Marks, you're a piece of trash.
Where have I seen him before? Anyway, never mind. Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dadley Boys previewing the Wednesday Night War a little bit later on today. Plus, let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. And watch there, you can follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at...
You follow me at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for hippity hoppity. You are my property.
Nice. You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.